I don't know about y'all, but I just can't get enough of Super Nintendo World, and as it turns out, over the past few days, a ton of images have been filtering in from people who've been able to access the park as part of early sneak previews that offers a look at it that we haven't yet seen before, even going beyond the Super Nintendo World Direct that happened just a few days ago, or maybe a week ago at this point. I've lost track of time, I don't even know what time means anymore. Point is, there are a lot of cool stuff that I wanted to take a look at, and I want to give a shout out to themeparks.com, theme parks with an X, not a KS, as they have a handy thread there that gathers all these images together in one place. And let's go ahead and take a look at, let's start off with a look at the full map of the region, which looks pretty freaking cool, offering a level of detail beyond what we even saw in the Super Nintendo World app map update a few weeks ago. Well, that's a lot to say real quick. But yeah, you can see we have a great overview of the park. We have the Mario Kart ride in the top left, although we can't actually see the ride building. They kind of truncated it a bit for the map. We have the Yoshi ride in the middle, where you can see the desert pyramids on the right, and Ice World on the left, and basically all the stuff we've been seeing. One little slight detail they took some poetic license with is a castle, because the castle is facing backwards in this image. It faces inward in the park, and you won't actually see the backside when you're in the park itself. So that's kind of interesting, but hey, I see why they did it. Alright, let's get on to the real meat of this update, and that's the actual images. So first up, we have a close-up look of Kinopio's Cafe. We saw this pretty well in the Super Nintendo World Direct, but we can see a little bit more to the right here. This shows the staircase you can use to reach the top level of the park. And actually, one real fun thing that they do with this cafe, which you can kind of see here, is the interior is much bigger than the exterior makes it look. It looks like you're entering the small little, Toad house, but inside you're actually entering a much bigger building, which is of course hidden by the mountain range and parts of the staircase behind it. So it's a really clever design thing, and I love that they did that. Similarly, we're seeing the same thing with the One-Up Factory here being the merchandise shop. We're taking the Warp Pipe into a much bigger building. Again, that's made to look as part of the landscape. So yeah. Continuing on here, we get a look at some people hanging out in the Warp Pipes outside the Super Nintendo World's entrance. The Warp Pipes do have a false back, I believe, so you're just able to walk inside them. Which is a cool little trick of perspective, in that you can't really see the back when you're inside the pipe, or even from most angles, or like a lower angle. Continuing on, we can see more of the entrance. So yeah, you can just barely see Peach's castle sneaking or peeking over the top there. Otherwise, I do love that the land is largely concealed until you head through the warp pipe into the land itself. Super cool. Here we get a good look at the Mario costume. We've already seen it before, but one detail that's great is that these are, I forget the actual word for it. They're articulated, I think. Anyways, basically the costumes do blink and have moving mouths, or at least one in the video did. I don't know if this one itself does as well, but it seems like they'll be able to blink and talk, at least in some form, in the park. This is a technology Disney's been working with for a while, so it's cool to see Universal adopting it too. Here's Toad! I freaking love the Toad costume. I don't even know how this works, considering how well they captured his squat demeanor, or squat, body style, but hey, it's pretty cool. Continuing on, we get a great look at the mountain here, which has all kinds of moving stuff on it. This is, of course, the Yoshi's Adventure, where the Yoshi ride is. We can see people actually riding it now. They're riding these wide-bodied Yoshis, which is kind of interesting. So it's both an indoor and outdoor attraction. It seems to be mostly outdoor, but there are indoor segments, such as the loading area. Of course, we're already seeing a bunch of the other animatronics we've seen elsewhere, so we won't dwell on this one too long. It just looks lovely. It looks so cool. There's a great level of depth there to these levels. Another look at the entrance. So it appears that the lower warp pipe, at least, you can actually just jump into, literally, whereas the backs, you can actually see the opening. The back is open there, as I was saying earlier, on the taller ones, I should say. We get another look at Toad here. Again, great appearance. Here we get a look at Super Nintendo World at night, particularly at Bowser's Castle, which is already looking amazing. It looks like the fruits on the trees individually light up, or at least are lit up individually. It just lends such a cool vibe. Walt Disney always enjoyed going to the parks at night because they had full control of the lighting then, and that seems to have carried over into Universal Studios' design ethos, particularly in Super Nintendo World, because this looks fantastic. Anyways, another look at the entrance. We get a look at the underground area that we saw with Miyamoto in the Super Nintendo World Direct, complete with a giant bomb. Another look at the land at night. Oh, looks so cool. A broader view at night. Again, it looks great. We're getting a look at, inside Mario Motors, this is just to the right of Bowser's Castle. So basically right in here, and we can see that some of the stuff they have on display is directly from the Mario Kart games. These are like the, I think, oil containers or, basically auto supplies that you'd find in the game as well. You can even see a kart services sign on the right. So it's neat that they carried this over from Mario Kart 8 where it was introduced. Another night shot. I think that might be the same one we saw earlier. It looks very similar. Where this is a viewpoint from within Mario Motors looking out into Super Nintendo World. So we can see Bowser's Castle right there on the right. Another look at Night of the Land with a kind of poorly framed shot, but hey, I'll take what I can get. We got another look at the Super Bean Mountain, I believe, along with Bowser's Castle on the left. From right in front of Peach's Castle, I believe, is where this picture was taken. We get a look at the bridge from which the Yoshi ride will cross over. So I love that there's going to be a lot of kinetic energy to the land, both of the ride and just animatronics in general. Another night shot. A bunch of night shots, it seems. It just looks so good. Look at this. Here we get another look at the lower level with the staircase going up. That is Kinopio's Cafe right there. So this is an angle we have not seen a lot of up until this point. So let's go ahead and head to page 1. And I believe we're on page 1 now. So here's another look at the entrance. Here is what I believe maybe our first look at Peach in mascot costume form. Looking really good. They're really killing the look of these mascot characters. I don't know if we've ever actually seen Peach in this form before. We've seen Mario and Luigi, of course, outside of even Super Nintendo World, but I don't remember seeing Peach. Even if we have, this is a great looking costume, so nicely done. Here's a close-up look at the Bowser at the Mario Kart attraction. There's a wait time sign out front. Gotta love the detail on this. Just a very cool looking castle. Maybe a little bit shorter than I ideally hoped for. But I'm sure it looks bigger in person, especially with the forced perspective they're using. Like, look how small those trees are, even though that's meant to evoke, an idea of them being far away. So forced perspective add work, which is always neat to see. Here's a great picture of Super Bean, what do I call it? Beanpole Mountain, I believe. I'm going to probably keep mislabeling it throughout this video. Just showing the great sense of scale there. I love this. That feels like a tall mountain. We can see Mario at the bottom, in front of a war pipe, so yeah, very cool. Another look at Bowser's Castle with a kind of very vibrant screenshot. And you can see, yeah, the snow-covered trees here illusion works a little bit better from this angle. Continuing on, we're seeing what I believe is outside of, at Mario Motors, rather. I think we're inside. So Mario using the paraglider, or glider, which is neat. I don't think we've seen that before. Another look at Bowser's Castle. We've seen both Mario and Luigi here, down at the base of the mountain. A close-up look at the Yoshi's Adventure sign. Neat. You can see you're also taking like what seems to be a war pipe into it. Another look at Toad by the exit of the ride, it seems. You can see that is the exit sign in Japan. Also similar ones in Europe, I believe. Not so much in North America or the United States, at least. Another look at the mountain. Here's a great look at the entrance, something we haven't really seen too much of. So again, we can see a power star on the floor. We saw a little bit of this earlier, but we're getting a much better look now. Again, you can see Peach's Castle is barely peeking over. I wish he had actually made this mountain a little bit taller to maybe disguise it a little bit better, but hey, I'm just nitpicking. Another elongated look at the entrance. You can see Harry Potter over to the right. They have very tight design constraints in Universal Studios Japan, so they have lands butting right up against each other. So like we have Hogwarts and Peach's Castle pretty much like right next to each other. Gotta love it. Two castles back to back. Another look at the from Peach's Castle out in the main area of Super Nintendo World. Here's a great look looking back at Peach's Castle from an angle we haven't quite seen yet. And I really do like this. And you can see how the mountains work really well from the interior, which do seem to obscure the outside world, which is really the more important design decision. So we haven't seen if this is the case for every angle, but it does seem to be largely the case. Here's a good look at the sleeping piranha creeper that Miyamoto had hinted at in the Super Nintendo World Direct video, but didn't fully tell us how exactly that works. So yeah, let's continue onward. A great look at Beanpole Mountain, I believe, from the left side. And a look at Mario Motors here. Oh, that looks so cool. This mountain really might be just kind of like the showpiece of the land, more so than even the castles. That just looks really cool. And again, you can see the mountains once again serving their job of filtering out the outside world, and in particular, the Mario Kart attraction, which is a giant ride building, basically back here in this area. So, nice to see them doing its job. We're gonna look at some, I think, Mario Kart merchandise. Yeah, look at that. Bullet Bill, Yoshi, I don't know if this does anything, or if it's just a statue, but I think it is just a statue, but looks cool. Another look at Beanpole Mountain. Bowser's Castle. Whoa, there's some graffiti here. Oh man, Mario, a dead Mario. Oof, I assume that is meant to be there. That's pretty cool. This is probably in an underground area. We saw some graffiti in Paper Mario and the Origami King, so it's kind of fun to see that continue. Oh, it was probably put there by Bowser Jr. There we go. This is all making a lot of sense. Remember, there's a whole story here involving Bowser Jr. Capturing the gold mushroom, and you have to go beat him to get it back. In order to encounter him, you have to get keys from around land, involving things like the giant bomb we saw and the sleeping piranha creeper we were just talking about. So it's kind of neat that they brought back his paintbrush in proper form, and we're seeing him using it on the land to put graffiti everywhere, or at least in these areas. Super cool. Another look at Beanpole Mountain, the staircase, and Bowser's Castle. And this is a look at some of the stickers that were revealed. I think these were data mined from the app, presumably as part of the upcoming Donkey Kong expansion Super Nintendo World. They may have been officially released now, I don't know, but they were data mined last I checked. Hey, Future Andre here through the magic of editing, because there's one more thing I forgot to check out, being this video. Hey, look, you can see it went up, moving back and forth right there. Because yeah, there's a video also in this thread that shows off even more of the park in motion on an overcast slash rainy day. So we're getting a little bit of that night vibe with everything lit up, if it, without it actually being night. But it shows off a couple more things. One, more of the land being in movement or in action. The Yoshi ride doesn't seem to be operating right now, probably because it is raining and it's an outside ride, so they probably turn it off as they do many rides. There's Peach in her gazebo right outside Peach's castle, so it's cool to see her actually in motion, because that is a really impressive costume. Speaking of motion, there's a Goomba right down there walking back and forth, and that piranha creeper earlier, by the way, which we saw right here. Look at that motion. I don't know, I just love the subtle look of it, because even though it's not moving a lot, it just looks so organic. It feels like it's alive. Anyways, that's pretty much the entirety of the video. Just want to show that off real quick. Now let's get back to our previously recorded video. So yeah, there we go. That's a look at the newest pictures of Super Nintendo World, the people actually in the park, offering some new angles, a better idea of what to expect. I'm loving this. I can't wait to go here myself. But yeah, there you guys go. That's just a look at the latest images for Super Nintendo World. So again, if you want to check these out for yourself, I'll put a link to this thread in the description below. Make sure to check it out. Lots of great stuff there, and it's continually being updated. So definitely keep an eye on it. And yeah, let us know what you think of all this in the comments below. We'd love to hear more of what you think of Super Nintendo World and what you're most excited for. One thing we haven't seen much of yet, or anything of, is the Mario Kart rides. It seems like they're still keeping that under wraps, which is probably a good thing, because I really don't want to be spoiled on that. So I probably will avoid ride-through videos when that actually is fully revealed. Anyways, that's it for me here. Thank you for watching. Make sure to click that subscribe button if you haven't already, and we'll catch you next time. Bye, everyone!